Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is June 16th, and that means day 167 of the 3DP 365 project. And on today's episode, we printed out this very cool vase we designed in Fusion 360, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 167 of the 3DP 365 project. As always, down in the description there's the facts section. There's also the MatterHackers affiliate link. If you're in the market for some new filament, a new printer, or even printer parts, just use that affiliate link and you'll really help out the channel. On today's episode, we designed in 360 and 3D printed this very cool vase, and I think it turned out awesome. And I was looking for something very cool to print on Thingiverse, and I love printing vases, and I love using Vase Mode on my gMax 1.5 XT Plus. And I didn't really see anything that was very elegant, something that was very stylistic. I mean, there's plenty of vases to choose from. There's hundreds of them actually. Some of them are just so oddly shaped or just odd you just don't want to print them. But there's a good portion of them that are very beautiful. But I didn't see anything classically elegant like what I designed here. So of course, I set off to Fusion 360 and designed my own. So let's head over to Fusion 360 and I'll show you how I made this. Okay, so here we are in Fusion 360, and here is Elegant Vase version 1. And this is what I created here in Fusion 360, and this is actually a sweep object. And if you look down here in my timeline, you can see that I have a sweep object. And if I back off in the timeline and turn on all my other sketches, you can see the objects I used to create my sweep. So if I pull this forward, there's our finished item. So let's create this from scratch. Let me show you how I did this. If we go up to the new design, the first thing we want to do is create the base. Now this can be anything you want. It could be square, it could be polygonal, it could be a circle, or you can even just draw a rough sketch. What I used was a circle. So let's go ahead and create a sketch. We'll go to the bottom plane, we'll go to sketch, and we'll go to circle, center diameter circle, and that's the one we're going to use. And I am by far no expert in Fusion 360. There are plenty of really great tutorials out there to show you how to use this application. But this is the way I did it. So I'll click and I'll drag, and I'm going to type in 80 for 80 millimeters because that's how big I want my base. And then just hit stop sketch. The next thing we want to do is we want to put an intersect point right here. So when we draw the profile of our sweep, it has something to attach to, and all three of these items are attached. They're all in the same space and they all end and start in the same place. So we want to create another sketch, so click on sketch, click on this back plane, and then you want to click and revolve around a little bit, and then you want to zoom in so you can get to that point. So if you go under the sketch menu, project/include, intersect. So we'll click right there, and that'll make our intersect point, and then click OK, and then hit stop sketch. So now we have our anchor point there that we can anchor our spline tool. The next thing we want to do is put our line going up the middle. So we'll create a new sketch. We'll go to the back plane. Oops. Let's undo that. We want to make sure we go on that back plane. So let's back plane. There it is. So you just want to make sure you're on the back plane. And then we want to draw our line from the center point going up. So we'll grab the line tool by clicking on the L on your keyboard. We'll click once and we'll drag up, and then we'll just put in our measurements. So let's just, for this purposes, we'll put in 300 millimeters. So now we have our line going up the center. So you hit stop sketch. The next thing we want to do is create our profile that will be what we use our sweep object on. And this will be the shape of our vase. So we'll go create new sketch. Go to the back plane again, and let's scroll out so we can see everything. And then I'm going to use a spline because it gives me the ability to have changeable and adjustable points. And it also gives me a chance to do a little bit of freeform designing. So we'll go sketch, spline, and the first thing we want to do is anchor it to that point that we put down. So we'll click right there, and then we'll back out here so we can see our whole thing, and you can click and move around so you can see it. And then you just want to freestyle this. You can do whatever design you want. You don't have to do anything precise. It's just more having fun in Fusion 360. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of points down. And then I'm going to zoom in to make sure that my top point is lined up right with the top of this, because that's very important for a sweep object. Your 2 points, this point and the top of your the profile that you're going to be creating, they need to end in the same place. And of course you can use the constraint menu and use the horizontal vertical constraints. But if you're doing precise sizes like I'm doing, 300 millimeters, it's going to end on one of these intersections on the grid. So you can just click once, and then make sure you click on the little green checkbox to finish what you're doing. So that's it for our profile. So if we zoom out, you can see our cool little profile. So we'll go ahead and hit Stop Sketch. All right, so let's click and revolve around, and then let's move this into view and zoom in. Now we can do our sweep object, and this is where the fun begins. So if we go into the Create menu, and we go to Sweep, and we want to use a path plus guide rail, because we have these 3 objects. So the first thing you're going to select is your profile, so that's your base. The next thing you're going to select is your path, which is the center point right here. The next thing you want to select is your guide rail, and this is going to be the shape. And once we hit this, this is where the magic happens. So there you go. So you just go ahead and hit OK. And there you have it. There is a vase. And see how easy that was. That was very simple to design, and you can really have fun with this. And remember, this is parametric, so you can go back into your timeline and change things. Just go underneath your sketch menu and turn on all your sketches, because when you do the sweep object, it'll turn them off by default. But then you can come in here and you can adjust this by going right click, edit sketch. And then you can come in here and adjust all these points and all these Bezier handles to change what you want. So if you want to balloon it out a little bit more or change the shape entirely, you can come in here and do whatever you want. And as long as that line is, or this point is locked to that point here, you don't move it around too much. You can't actually move it around at all, I'm sorry. It has to be the exact point here. So if you take this and you right click and go move, you want to make sure you only move on this axis. You want to make sure you stay on that axis so it stays at 350 or 300 millimeters, I believe is what we made it. So once you're done, adjusting and fine tuning your vase, just hit OK, and then hit Stop Sketch, and then scroll back out so you can see your whole object, and pan around, and we'll drag this up so we can see it. And then all you have to do is just move your little timeline indicator forward, and there are the changes that you made. So that's very cool. So this is how we designed our Elegant Vase version 1 here in Fusion360. And it's a very simple process, and that's basically it. And then once you're done with the object selected, you want to go under the Make 3D Print menu. And under here, if you want to use some sort of refinement option, you have those options here. You can download, or if you've already have some of these downloaded, you can do mesh refinement. I don't use that really. I have a lot of faith in Fusion360. You can select the model and hit Preview Mesh, and it'll give you a polygon or triangle count here. So we only have 35,000 polygons. That's not too bad. Or triangles. Turn off Preview Mesh. And I keep this on high refinement. And then just hit OK and give it a file name and save it. And that's basically it. And then you just send it over to Simplify3D for slicing, and then send it over to your printer for printing. So that wraps up our little tutorial here in Fusion360, and I'll see you guys back over at the workbench. Okay, so you saw how I designed this in Fusion360, and then we sent it over to Simplify3D for slicing. In Simplify3D, we used a 0.2 millimeter layer height, and we enacted vase mode. We also used 4 bottom layers, and we ran this out at 50 millimeters per second. And I used some of that MatterHackers PRO PLA in the color of white. Obviously, you can tell this is white. And our print turned out awesome. It was about a 7-hour print, so it didn't take that long. And it really looks good. There are no problems with this print whatsoever. The surface quality is very, very nice. And it's actually pretty sturdy too for only having a single perimeter. And this was very cool to design in Fusion360. So this is Elegant Vase version 1. So I'll probably do 2 more of these and post them up on Thingiverse. So watch for those posts when they come out. And I'll definitely print a few of them in different kinds of materials too. I'm probably going to print this one at about half scale with about 5 perimeters and 8 to 10 bottom layers and make it a functional vase. And I was thinking I would probably use some of that really cool sandstone effect rattle can paint that you can get at your hardware store. So that'll be very cool. So watch for that up on Instagram, and you can find my Instagram information down in the description. But this print actually turned out perfect, and I'm really happy with the results, and I'm definitely going to be printing out more of these, and definitely going to be using these as functional items. Well, that about wraps it up for day 167 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope you guys found this episode interesting and informative. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.